And now to China, where heavy rain and mudslides are wreaking havoc in southern China. Elsewhere, 2 districts in Beijing were hit by explosions. NTD's Tiffany Meyer brings us more.
In the southwestern province of Guizhou, many areas suffered from heavy rain and mudslides in recent days. A parking lot collapsed. 3 cars had already washed away, and 3 cars were still standing there, stuck on the crumbling earth beneath them. A car is seen drifting on the surface of the river. The man who shot the clip said he hasn't seen flooding like this in decades. This video shows the scene after a mudslide. From September 13th to the 17th, heavy rain and landslides hit Miyi County in southwestern province of Sichuan. 2 days later, and the impact can be seen. A vast amount of stones and debris brought down from the mountainsides have washed over the village. Cars are buried, streets are covered. Even the schoolyard is under a thick layer of mud and stones. The villagers don't know where to begin in trying to clear it out. Now to Beijing, where multiple explosions rocked 2 of the city's districts in the middle of the night. The blast struck just before midnight on Friday at the junction of the Sunyi and Tongzhou districts. Locals reported being woken up by the explosions, saying more than 100 fire trucks showed up soon after on the scene. Some wrote they also spotted helicopters hovering nearby. But later on, almost all related posts on Chinese social media were deleted by authorities. The next day, 12 hours after the blasts, local authorities claimed the accident was caused by gas tanks stored in the warehouse. They also emphasized that there were no casualties. But the sensitive timing of the incident triggered speculation online. October 1st is National Day in China. It marks the anniversary of when the Chinese Communist Party built up its regime 71 years ago.
And some big news stories as we approach the November election. The Justice Department says 3 Democrat-run cities are allowing anarchy, violence, and destruction. The DOJ singled out New York City, Portland, and Seattle for riots that began there after the death of George Floyd. The Trump administration says it could pull federal funding in cities that allow lawlessness.
The DOJ says all 3 cities experienced spikes in crime, protest-related violence and destruction, and the stifling of law enforcement. Attorney General William Barr says these cities are not using their federal tax dollars to keep citizens safe. The report says New York and Portland both cut police budgets in the midst of rising violence, and all 3 cities rejected federal law enforcement support. Barr says that he hopes these cities can turn things around and become serious about the safety of citizens. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio responded by saying the criticism is all about politics and is a move designed to appeal to Trump's base. But the DOJ says shootings in New York City increased 177% in July and 166% in August from the same times a year ago, and that the city cut $1 billion from the police budget. The DOJ report is a response to President Trump's memo earlier this month about reviewing federal funding to state and local governments that permit lawlessness. It says taxpayer money is being wasted when it goes to places like these, and that it's not fair to taxpayers.
In France, some animal rights groups track hunters. A video shows a deer escaping from what would have been certain death.
A large exhausted stag escaped French hunters with the help of environmental activists in the north of Paris. It sought refuge near a building site before escaping. The images show the panting deer, its tongue out of its mouth, collapsing on a stretch of asphalt next to the construction project. The incident took place on Saturday. He was surrounded by hunting dogs, police, and bystanders. Activists came to his rescue.
We saw the deer collapsed on the floor against the fence of a building site, its tongue sticking out. It was coughing up blood and there were dogs around it trying to bite it, other dogs on the road. We took matters into our own hands.
In images released by the anti-hunting group, environmentalists are seen chasing away the dogs. After that, the panicked deer gets up, crashes into metal fencing, and then escapes back into the woods. The group was tracking a deer hunt when they spotted the animal. In July, several environmental organizations launched a bid for a national referendum on banning hunting with horses and hounds. Hunting groups say the activity is legal and should not be interfered with.
Archaeologists in Egypt have discovered nearly 30 coffins at an ancient burial ground. The site is also home to one of the world's oldest pyramids.
Ornately decorated and covered in hieroglyphs, archaeologists in Egypt have discovered 27 unopened coffins at the ancient necropolis of Saqqara that are estimated to be more than 2,500 years old, according to the Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities. The coffins were found stacked in 2 burial shafts at the UNESCO World Heritage Site. In March, Egypt reopened the Djoser's Step Pyramid after a 14-year restoration, costing nearly $6.6 million. The pyramid dates back about 4,600 years. In July, Egypt restarted international flights and reopened major tourist attractions after months of closure.